part 2 of part 3. Sorry about that. I somehow got a call when my Wi-Fi and data was off, so that's a mystery that will never be solved. And I was finishing up brushing this out, and I'm about to blast it with air. I know for a fact that you guys can't see it, but there's a very, very tiny hole down in there, and I cannot see the light through it. So I'm going to take that little bristle and push it out. I went ahead and got a smaller bristle because it wouldn't fit in there. So I'm just going to try to dig all that crud out of there and then use some solvents and some air pressure to get down in there, because that's not going to fit. Never mind, guys. I found this little brass brush. Like, usually I'd be bleeding by now, but it's a little bit thinner bristles, and there's more of them. I'm going to go ahead and pull some of those out, if I can. There we go. Look, it's so small it even curled up. And I'm not going to get that straightened out, but I'll try to see if I can use it. I'm sorry, guys, that was not a hole. I thought it was a hole, and I was thinking that was kind of weird that there would be a smaller hole than the jet. Like, what the heck? But it's not a hole. There's no such thing as a hole that small at a carburetor. They put the fuel mixture adjustment screw, God, I can't talk. They put the fuel mixture adjustment screw in a kind of strange place, because this is going to be right in front of it. So I don't know how you're supposed to get a screwdriver back there to adjust it. I guess you have to take it apart and then adjust it and then do it again. But I got that whole area pretty much cleaned out, and I think we're ready to start cleaning these out. I'm just going to use this little tool to get down in there. You can probably see the dust coming out of there. Just made everything into powder, and I'm going to blow it out with air. Every time you whip up more dust, you need to make sure that you clean everything else out too, because it's going to spread everywhere and clog stuff up again. I think I'm going to do this jet a little bit better. I think I got that pretty decent finally, so I'm going to go ahead and take this little bristle and start pushing out these holes for probably about 5 minutes, just to make sure there's absolutely nothing in it. So this brass jet tube was very oxidized, which is basically the way brass rusts. Aluminum does it too, and zinc. But I cleaned every single hole out, so now I'm ready to start putting it back together. So I'm going to start by putting this jet in. It is kind of nice to have some carb cleaner around with the little tip on it, because I like to stick it down in there and make sure that, like, just kind of pretend that there's like a suction and fuel, and just make sure that it gets up there like it should. And then I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning this upper half, because that needs to be cleaned thoroughly too. Just like I did with the bottom half. And unless this is stained or there's any crud built up like this, which I can just wipe off, you can just blow it off with the air compressor just to make sure there's no loose dust. And the float pin too, and the wrist pin for the float. I'm going to go ahead and fill this with a little bit of two-stroke, just so that way it's not seized when I put it together. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this with a regular screwdriver so I can strip it out. This is very important. And it started to lift up on the back end right there. You don't want that. You want to make sure it's even. I don't know why they do it that way. It could just stick in through there. Make sure everything's nice and loose. And then when you're putting it together, make sure that you see the float go up. As you can see very clearly there. Because the float pin and the float stops the gas from coming in when it gets too full. It's hard to cross thread these, but you can do it, so it's better just to start them. Here's an attempt at a first start with the carburetor working with a funnel as the fuel system, because the fuel pump hose that comes off of the crankcase is not doing so well. It's soft and falls apart. try a little bit more fuel pressure and fill it up, the funnel up a little bit more. Not seeing anything come out the jet, so I'm going to go ahead and repeat what I just did one more time, and then I'll try to start it again. The little electronic thing that I was talking about earlier, right here, I know what it does. It blocks and lets the fuel flow through the jet, and it blocks the fuel flow through the jet, and it was stuck. It's very, very seized. I still don't know what it's called, but look at that. That's just so dirty. That's not going to move up and down, but you can see through the holes now, and fuel comes through these little ports and then out this hole when those holes aren't being blocked. So I'm going to clean that up and then try again. I went ahead and sanded this down, and then now I'm going to take it and put it on the drill and then hold it really tight with the towel. Until it starts to get warm. And then, as you can see, it's really shiny and polished. And it moves in and out of there very, very easily. I'm going to test the little guy with my 12-volt battery charger. See how it's spring-loaded, so it's on right now. And when I put it on 12-volt 2 amp, can you see it? Is it? I put it on 12-volt 2 amp. You can't see it opening up the holes, but I can. If I push it all the way down, I can see it. Here, let me just move the phone. Get it lined up here. I think that's pretty cool, actually. Moving in and out, so it works. You don't need to see it working, you can just hear it. You can hear it knocking back and forth in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another power source, possibly that, for the starting, and then I'm going to use the 2 amp 12 volt for the little tiny thing, because that's really the only way I'm going to get it started. Here's try number 4. If you're wondering about kill switch, it's pretty sick. You got that little thing as a kill switch. It might have something to do with runaway, and then you have to have your fuel hooked up probably. And this little 14 amp thing should be enough. Negative. You can get 2 leads on there at once. It's possible. Okay. Sorry, my charger wasn't plugged in. Keep losing connection.